Hey, thanks for being a part of the conversation. This is Forest Stories. I am the Poet in the Forest, a children's series that I penned out in the 1990s. Now, none of it would be possible if it wasn't for this forest right here in South Charlotte, North Carolina. I talk about it so much that I thought maybe it's time that you get to know what has inspired me for 30 years. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. Welcome back to the forest. It's been a few days since Tropical Storm Debbie. I haven't been back to this darker side of the forest, meaning less walked upon, less visited. As I'm moving through the trees right now, the grapevines are just out of control crazy. But you can see the path of the water, where it built up, and what has been damaged. But what I want to take note of is the actual creek itself, the slow-moving creek that makes its way to the lake. To my left is a giant fallen limb. Got a couple of them here, but nothing that seems to be too damaging. As my wife would say, you have to leave them on the ground because something has to feed the soil, and it also has to block future storms from destroying the land. The tall grass that's always been so available to walk through is still here. It doesn't look bent over or pushed aside by the winds or the rain of Tropical Storm Debbie. As I make my way to the creek, I see that we've lost a large tree, snapped in half. Once again, you leave it here for the animals, for the insects, for future storms. I'm at the creek right now. You can see where the water itself added up, but I don't see as much erosion as I've seen with other storms that have come through this area. But you have to watch things like this because you don't want it to flow over the banks. You want to be able to recognize what the behavior of the creek is and how it's going to maintain its presence in a safe area. Now, of course, I fear copperhead snakes out here. I'm doing something really stupid. I've got shoes with no socks on. Well, here's an area that we haven't talked about in Forest Stories. The creek that I tried to create with its river rock to help relieve some of the stress of the erosion coming down the other side of the hill. Remember, it's a 95-foot drop from the front to the back, to this lake, to this creek. I would say at this point in time, the way that nature has taken care of this forest, the water hasn't done that much damage. Just the broken trees and the limbs that lay on the ground. Hey, thanks for being a part of the conversation.